Okay, so I have a list of stuff that I want to talk about. We 100% don't need to fix or deal with all of the things that I bring up today, but if nothing else, I want to get people thinking about these and sort of have us try and figure out something on a lot of these. Um, that I certainly don't expect everything to be solved today. That's ridiculous. But have people start thinking about that. Um, so for getting started, several people have asked, are we going to do a Kickstarter or a Patreon? And I don't know if we can justify doing both. I feel like that's asking a bit much. Um, but I do feel like either or have their sort of upsides and downsides. That doing like a Kickstarter to get the initial funding to start up, or doing Patreon and getting trickles of funding over time. Um, I think either have their merit, but we'll sort of see which ends up being better. I don't know. I guess we'll need to talk about that. But regardless of whether we do a Kickstarter or a Patreon, what perks we will provide or what benefits or whatever um, will need to happen on either platform. Um, and then if we are, since we are going to try to do more stuff and expand, we're going to try and think about bringing on more specialized people onto the team, people to handle certain things. Um, and I do want to try to change the sort of moderator admin ranking a little bit. Have moderators be people who moderate the server, people who just sort of like manage stuff, manage the website, manage the streams, that sort of stuff, and have admins be people who run projects or people who specifically work on projects. So like people like Popper pretty much runs the league, and so like he'd be an admin, so we could deal with that. And like different people who are doing projects would be admins, so they have the power over that, and have the moderator be a more general position. Because right now, you guys know there's really not much of a difference between a moderator and an admin. So that way we have there's some distinction between the two. Um, we also need to figure out how the website is going to go. Um, like I can make the website. That's not difficult. I have the tools and stuff to do that. We just need to figure out what we want on there, what we're going to do. Um, I know I want some people to do articles, some people to do some post writing, um, as well as having it be a place for um, events and tournaments. That right now we're kind of using Google Docs and the sheets and stuff to do all our to do all the leagues stuff, and while it works, I would rather handle it through the website so that people have one place where they can go to deal with all that. And I don't know what else we can do on there. Like I know we could probably do like different, have it be a hub for posting content and stuff like that. But that is one thing to think about, is what kind of stuff can we do given access to the website, and then what kind of events can we run, and what kind of scale would they be on. We already do the league, and that's cool, but I also start trying to do monthly or some kind of recurring time scale tournaments, like just one-time tournaments, and we can do an entry fee for that. That the league staying free, I think, is definitely a good thing. But I think that having a sort of paid entry tournament with a bigger prize pool can help sort of legitimize Popper more in a similar way that like Rags to Riches does. And so I want to try and hold one-time tournaments like on a similar basis to that, sort of reoccurring. Um, me and Popper have been working on improving the results form, basically the system that we use to run the league. And any of you who have used the league know that it's powerful and pretty easy. And having seen the way that many different local game stores run leagues or FNM, I think this is something that if we can improve it enough, that we can try to give to other stores. Because many game stores literally just have a dude with a clipboard who's like, "Who won?" And then somebody screams back. And somebody's going to mess up. And so having a system like where we have, where somebody can just check in on their phone and submit their results, is the obviously superior system that I think could help a lot of game stores run FNM and events and stuff a lot more smoothly, take some of the stress off the staff. And then I want to try to get a few of the different content creators from the server, and maybe reach out to some other people outside of the server about trying to make content for the website, as well as trying to put together a sort of group of people who can stream through what would be like a Discord, Twitch channel, some place that we can have everybody go to. And it's like there's every time this channel's up, it's going to be up pretty often. There's going to be some content there. So that's generally what I want us to handle. I'm sure there's going to be some more stuff to do as we move to try to expand stuff, but that's generally some of the things that I feel I want to see done. So if anity has any input on any of that kind of stuff, please let me know. We can talk about it.
We also need to decide on a name, or at least like push forward on that front.
Yeah. I'm still getting some of the art commissioned, and a lot of that is just like generic art stuff. None of that has like a name or anything attached to it, so whatever name we pick, we can just apply to that. So yeah, we do need to get the name handled so that I can claim all the social media and stuff for it. If possible, I'd like to try and get us to a point where we can announce what we're doing, or we can like go public on the 5th for the anniversary of the server. So here, I guess we'll cover the first thing. So Kickstarter or Patreon? What do we think on that? How do we think we can handle that?
If we are doing one of them, I think it would be hands down Patreon.
Yeah.
I would think the same, because for Kickstarter to work, you need to like plan out a project. What's the money getting used for, etc., etc. Like, what are the risks? And also, we only get the money if we become 100% funded. So either we would have to like set a really low goal, or we would run the risk of like not gaining any money. And also, the Patreon would give us like something like a base income, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And also like over a longer period of time, hopefully.
Yeah, I definitely think that Patreon would eventually have to happen, regardless. That even if we did do a successful Kickstarter, I think we would eventually have to do some sort of subscription system. Like, it's just sort of proven to be the successful way to do things on the internet now, especially with ad revenue being so janky as of recently. So yeah, I definitely I think that that Patreon's
can you
probably
just-
best long term.
Can you post the agenda in the admin channel so that we
Yeah.
can see it?
Here, let me write this out. And then I guess the next thing would be the website. How do we want to handle? Do we have any ideas of what kind of stuff we can do on there? What kind of thing can we do to draw traffic to that, to sort of have people want to come to the site?
I mean, I think articles are definitely a good idea to have people write on the website. Also, we could like do the as you mentioned already, like organize the league and maybe the challenge project, like put the data of the challenge project on there.
I don't even
I don't
honestly.
know.
Okay, what is the challenge project?
I think it started out to basically take the data from all the Midgo Popper challenges and aggregate them and then try to analyze them. Like basically, I guess in the way Goldfish does it, but a more thorough analysis of the data, I guess.
Yeah, well, because I know that that in MTGO, if you join a league, you can see all of the results for that league. But then when the league ends, only a portion of it are submitted publicly.
Yeah, I think Wizards picks 10 5
Yeah, they pick 10 5-0s at random. And so yeah, it's like all the information is there. You can see it if you join the league. It just gets hidden once the league ends. So yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on with the Pauper Challenge, but yeah, like more information's always good if they are trying to sort of accrue what information we can get out of the leagues and events and tournaments and stuff. Then that's never a bad thing. Mostly because I hate seeing on Goldfish that Stompy is the best deck in the format. It's not. It's not. I promise.
It definitely isn't.
it's definitely not. It's just the best grinder deck, and when grinders play the majority of the games in leagues, it's gonna show up a lot. But
I mean, it's definitely a good deck, or it wouldn't be at spot number 1.
yeah, it's good, but it's a deck.
It's not the best.
Well, it's
but I
why
don't
Rags
think
to
there is a
Riches.
best
In Rags to Riches, Stompy decks never perform. Like no Rags to Riches has Stompy decks performed. Because it's not a tournament deck. Like that's not its thing.
Well.
Yeah, and I mean like.
Also, the Rags to Riches meta is a little bit different, but
Yeah, because they're using the paper ban list, so it's slightly
and
different.
there's a paper clock, which is also a thing. Because if you're against a fast deck with things like Tortured Existence, where I say, hey, I'm gonna loop this right now for X many times.
Yeah, in paper I can. Yeah, in
That's
paper
just
I can.
fast.
Yeah, because like, playing Tortured Existence, like I have an Oromancer loop that takes like 6 steps, and it's like if I can just be like, I'm gonna get back Seal of Doom every turn. Like yeah, that cuts 10 minutes off my clock in a round. So it cuts a lot of the innate disadvantage that playing a control deck does online.
Probably.
Yeah. And then trying to put together a list of events and stuff. Running, sort of expanding the league, seeing how we can grow the league to include more people, to try and get the word out about that.
And I think we should like do a section on Pauper resources, like similar to what we have on the Discord, in the command. Just get together all, like collect the links where you can find what, and have like a hub, like a place for someone new to Pauper to point to, like go here and you will find everything in there.
Yeah, because right now that place is Reddit, and Reddit it's okay for having conversation and taking information.
To be honest, the place is the Discord server.
Well, yeah, but most people don't know about the Discord server. We're huge, but in the grand scheme of Magic,
yeah, we're tiny.
Yeah. But yeah, Reddit, if it's like, oh, how do I play Pauper? How do I get into Pauper? What are popular decks and like that? You're not going to get that information from Reddit. You're going to find the most recent information about Pauper, but you're not going to find all of, like, any of the, a lot of relevant information is not going to be there due to the nature of Reddit constantly cycling information. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, and then what we can do for tournaments, for like just Rags to Riches style tournaments. Seeing what we can do there. What do you guys think for that kind of structure? What kind of time frame do we want them to be on? Do we need to be like monthly or every 2 weeks or whatever? I don't know how we want to run it.
And then another question would be like, where do we run them? Do we run them on Midgo? Do we run them somewhere in paper? If so, then where?
Yeah. We'd have to run them on Midgo.
Yeah, probably.
Because of the nature of Pauper. Running them in paper runs into then the issue of what ban list do we use and running it on Midgo.
And where the hell do we play?
Yeah, because I mean a lot of our people are from Europe, and so that would probably be, if we were going to do something in paper, it'd probably be Europe, but then that leaves all the Americans out, so it's like people can't travel or whatever. Yeah, it definitely online probably be the best option, and then. I guess kind of like what would we do for entry fee and prize support for that?
Probably a bunch of Pauper staples that are quite expensive, say Thorn of the Black Rose or other things.
Yeah, something like a lot of the stuff from like the treasure chest that are pricey.
Yeah, also
Blast. Yeah. So for entry, would we just be like tickets? Because I don't know. I mean, and it would have to, like, some research would have to be done as to what we'd be allowed to do if we'd get in trouble with Wizards or MTGO or whatever for doing anything. Figuring out what we'd be allowed to do. Because, well, let's see. Who? It's not right. What is the Pauper tournament? I know there is an online like Pauper tournament that happens occasionally.
Pauper Community Challenge.
Is that it?
Is that what it's called? The Pauper Classic Tuesdays. That's it, I think.
Because I want to see how they do their system. Because I know.
I think, but I think they have free to play and they don't have prize support. But I don't know.
Here, let's see. Yeah, free entry. there is prizes, which are gift certificates from MTGO traders. Okay.
I guess they're sponsored by them.
That's what it looks like.
I think isn't like Tiny Tim affiliated with them in a way? I think so.
I definitely know that we have the community side. Like, we have the weight that once we get set up, we could get sponsorships. Like, we have the sheer just power to do that. That's not something I'm too concerned with. But yeah, I know that, like, if we're gonna be running stuff and trying to like make content and do things, that yeah, having some different sponsors from different MTGO or MTG companies is gonna kind of be a must. But considering that we have the manpower and the influence to get something like that. Yeah, I'll definitely have to try and look into if we can do a pay to enter event, because I know there's no rules about doing it in paper, that if you're doing in real life a paid entry tournament, Wizards doesn't care. But I don't know about how they're going to, if there's any issue with online. That's the thing. It's like, are we allowed to do that? I'll have to figure that out. Okay. And then putting together a sort of group of content creators, people who can do streams and videos and stuff for Twitch channel and YouTube and the website and that kind of thing. Try to think about people who we want to be on that team, people we want to join that. And I know that there are some people outside of the server who do some Pauper stuff from time to time that we can try and reach out to, that will probably say no or ask for money or whatever, that we can try and reach out to some other people and see if anybody else wants to do stuff. I know one of the guys from Rogue Deck Builder does Pauper stuff relatively regularly, or at least he used to, before the Drake incident.
I mean, as you already mentioned, the question is gonna be, will people want to join the project, and if so, why?
Yeah. Yeah, I know that I definitely think that we're going to be able to get, that we definitely will get a lot of people who want to join initially, but many of those are not going to be the right kind of people. But I think that there are many people like Deluxikoff and his partner who make Pauper content out of a love of Pauper, and I've already spoken to Deluxikoff, and he's just too busy. But we may be able to work out a deal where we can do sort of a two-way sponsorship, or cross post some content. But there are definitely some people who will want to do stuff just for Pauper. But then as well, I think that there will be some people who we may be able to get to join to try to get, who will want to get exposure, kind of thing, that people who want to try to write in the Magic community, who can use this as a way to write. People who want to make content in the Magic community and grow in the Magic community that way, who can use the platform that we're providing as sort of a place to get their stuff out to a larger audience that they could not reach otherwise. And while that generally work for smaller people, I think that can be a way to get to sort of bring on some people. And through a Patreon, we can use that money to sort of pay larger people to work with us. That we can commission some of these larger guys to do a video series with us. And I can pay artists and developers and stuff to work on the project. So yeah, I think that, and the dogs are freaking out. Like they're not even in the house; they're in the backyard across the house, and I can hear them squealing. Okay. Yeah. So is there anything else that we can kind of think of? What do we need to handle to get ready for a soft launch or announcement on the 5th?
I guess the name and the logo and at least parts of the website would be good.
Yeah. Yeah, I can start working on the website.
Sniper left yet.
Okay.
Go eat or something.
See a sniper. Yeah, I can start working on the website this week. I can continue. I can work on the website and try and get some stuff set up there. If people want to try and work on the sort of refining the resources tab, so we can have that. Yeah, the name does need to be handled, and yeah, Castle of Cardboard was just too long, unfortunately. Several, like Twitter and both Twitter and Facebook were like, nope, too long. So that doesn't work. And that name can't be abbreviated. So
well, it can.
It can.
You might not like the abbreviation though.
I do think I do like the name Castle of Cardboard as a joke, like down the road. That'd be hilarious to like see somebody at like a pro tour with like cock sleeves. Like that would be great. But yeah, I think that trying to grow a brand, I don't think that is gonna be I don't think that's gonna be the greatest thing.
Oh, quick aside. So I just checked. The last video Rogue Deck Builder seems to have done on Pauper was back in February this year.
Yeah, I remember he did Pauper stuff, but then the Drake incident happened.
He rage quit.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, I remember that.
I can't blame him.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that honestly, like we remember, like Pauper was growing really fast. Like Pauper was getting a lot of attention, and then Drake happened, and Wizards didn't ban it, and didn't ban it, and then finally it was like, oh wait, we're sorry. Here you go. Here's an emergency ban. We're sorry. We didn't mean it. We love you. Come back.
Whoopsie. We did a whoopsie.
Yeah, but Pauper was growing so fast. It was getting so much attention, and then Wizards screwed us. Like Pauper was on track to get like some bit like Channel Fireball and Star City Games and like the big publishers were talking about Pauper seriously, and then Drake happened.
Didn't LSU recently do something on Pauper though?
I believe he did
yes.
talk about it. Yeah.
No, he actually played.
He
Delver,
did Blue Red Delver. That's what. Yeah, the Blue Red Delver deck shot up in price like $10 because of that.
Yeah.
I know Paul Cheon played Pauper pretty regularly. Like he just actually played Teachings, but
Yeah,
Was
he
it Paul
tried to-
Cheon, who is now one of the guys from Channel Fireball, is now working at WotC?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. So he can't do that anymore.
Wasn't Cheon the one who did the series on Drake too?
I think so,
Probably.
yeah. And
Yeah.
he like discussed in the Channel Fireball thingy.
Yeah,
whether
and they're
Pauper
like
should
their
be a
live
PG
stream.
format.
Yeah, they were talking about if Pauper should be like a competitive level format. Which no, it shouldn't. It's not. It's really broken, but like you said, suddenly throw a whole bunch of like Pauper is not a solved format, and that's cool. Pauper also may not be solvable. Not every format is, but you suddenly throw a whole bunch of pros and teams at it trying to solve the format, and bad things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that yeah, I can definitely work on trying to get to a state where they are presentable, maybe not usable, not finished of course, but presentable. Different social media platforms and the website. And I think that trying to reach out to who we can as far as writers and streamers, video makers, people like that, to try and make a little bit of content ahead of launch so that we have stuff there for people to see on the site, so that there is something there. Like I can make something and can probably do a post. I know I would love to yell at people about MTG Goldfish. I'm happy to do that. I'm sure Mike. I've messaged Mike and not gotten a reply. Asked him about, hey, do you want to yell at people? Do you want to rant? do you want to rant on our site?
An old man rants about Pauper.
Yeah.
I think the first article we should not be something along the lines of, like, oh, MTG Goldfish is wrong, because this is the internet. People are gonna take stuff the wrong way.
Well, I wouldn't frame it as I wouldn't frame it as MTG Goldfish is wrong. It's how to interpret the information from Goldfish, like how to take that information and make it something actually useful. Like how to take that information and make it usable.
How the internet works. People are gonna take that information and interpret it as an attack.
Yes. Why your choices are bad and mine are correct. Part 1. Or how to offend people. Part 1 through 7.
Why your deck's shit. Part 3. It's like, are you running white? Yeah, your deck's shit. Just an entire. That's the post. That's all it is. Thanks.
I like that.
Yeah. I do think that trying to do a podcast, and I don't want to compete with color commentary directly, but I do think that a sort of every 2 weeks, I think every 2 weeks is a reasonable schedule. Trying to do weekly is a pretty big requirement. Every 2 weeks I think is reasonable, because it gives us a chance to, like, we can miss recording schedule, allows us to play around with the recording schedule, and then gives whoever's editing it, probably me, a few days to actually edit it, and not constantly be running up against a deadline. But I do think some sort of regular podcast to talk about general stuff in Pauper, sort of the tournaments and the metagame, new cards and new sets and stuff. Talk about some of the more general stuff, because color commentary gets more specific, talking about specific decks and talking about, like, oh, how good is this card, and they tend to get a little bit more specific on their discussion, and they can get away with that because it's weekly, and so they they have more. That way, they have more to talk about. But I want to try and do something a little bit more general, covering the tournaments, covering, oh, here's the decks that performed well at League for the last month, covering some of the more general stuff for Pauper, sort of an informational podcast rather than something more specific.
Yeah.
It's like I basically just want to get several forms of reoccurring content on the channel, whether it's audio or video or written, some way that there's something for everybody there. Keep people coming back, keep people interested, try to always be new content there rotating through for people to learn new resources and different information. So, does anybody else have any ideas as to what we could, any other stuff that we could do, any other sort of questions or concerns? There are people mowing the lawn outside my house. Okay. If there's nothing else, the people here live and the people watching the VOD can ping the mod channel. I think yeah, the next discussion that we need to have in mod chat is going to be name. That needs to be sorted pretty quickly. That 100% needs to be done before the 5th. So let's see what needs to get done before the 5th. A name so that I can claim all the social media stuff that needs to be done. Trying to reach out to whoever we can, whoever we think will handle it, to get a little bit of content pre-done before release. So we have some videos or whatever, something on the site when we sort of announce it. And I think discussion about who we can bring on to try and handle some of this new stuff. If anybody in the mod team already wants to try and take on some more responsibility in a certain area, or who we think we could bring on to try and handle some of these new things that are going to arise. Thinking about that, I think those are the main things I think need to be handled before the 5th, and the sort of rest of the stuff we can talk about and we can handle sort of over time as they become relevant. So I think that'll be it for the recorded meeting. Goodbye.